This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Oye, Chico, ¿cómo estás?
Doing great, man. How are you?
Very good, my brother. You doing all right?
Yeah, man, hanging in there. I went to practice this morning and I took off after the media availability. We got to watch about maybe 20, 25 minutes of stretching and drills. And then as soon as they get into that 11 on 11, bro, Mario kicks everybody's ass out of there.
Get your ass out. Get your ass out.
That's why I kind of giggled about some of these people who are putting out like, hey, these are the guys working with the first team and the second team, when clearly
you have Mario's
just
right.
he knows what he's doing, bro. He ain't showing nobody nothing.
Right. Of course not. He doesn't have to. So why the hell would he? And he's certainly not going to show it to people that are going to write about it.
Right. Exactly. Like, not the guys who take notes.
Did you see what they did with the Dolphin depth chart? I haven't even bothered to talk about it because all he did was he threw all the veterans as starters. You know, it's like, you know, I get what you're doing, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
right.
All right, whatever. It's like the respect depth chart at the beginning. When, you know, like he's got Ezukama like the sixth receiver, seventh receiver. When you go out to practice, that kid's the number 3 receiver on the team right now. He's balling out that he's beating Cedric Wilson right now, one of the free agent pickups. You know what I mean? So it's just
right.
It's whatever, you know. It is what it is. What it is. What are you gonna do? Now, I saw that the preseason edition of the USA Today coaches poll came out.
Yep.
And I found some interesting things. Not that Bama was 1 or Ohio State 2 or Georgia 3 or Clemson 4. Although the very overrated Notre Dame at 5 is kind of deceiving. Miami is at 17. But NC State and Pittsburgh, they got more respect right now. They're at 13 and 16 in the rankings. So while we're all pumped up and I'm not putting them to win the ACC. I believe that they should win the Coastal. Well, guess what? Whether it's some maybe ACC writers or national folks, they're still thinking NC State and Pittsburgh's ahead of Miami right now.
Well, I mean, these are the coaches. Oh, that this is their poll. So obviously they feel that way too, right? And you know, look, I don't know who handles it. I know there's 66 of the 130 whatever it is now FBS coaches are involved in it. And Mario Cristobal is not one of the voters, but I'm sure they usually have their PR team. They just hand it over and say, "Hey, somebody fill this out for me." Look, Texas got a first place vote. Okay, I don't know if you noticed that, but it was kind of ridiculous. Texas, who I think lost to Kansas last year, right? Wasn't it? Didn't it lose? So, yeah.
They've been choking for the last 20 years, bro. I mean, since Vince Young left, that program has gone to dog shit. They haven't accomplished anything.
No, they have the number 1 recruit right now. They picked up Quinn Ewers through the transfer portal, who was the number 1 recruit before, and then obviously they have Arch Manning committed now. But outside of that, yeah, you're right. They haven't done anything. And look, this is all just to generate interest and conversations, to get people like us and everybody else around the country to talk about it. I will say this: there is a lot more respect for the teams in the Atlantic Division than the Coastal Division. Okay, and I think NC State is a team that it probably deserves some respect. Look, they lost to Miami and here at Hard Rock, but you know that was a game that Tyler Van Dyke he was his coming out party, so to speak, after 2 rough first starts that he had on the road in the ACC and at home against Virginia. So I think without question, you know, you look at the Atlantic right now and you say Wake Forest is a good team. You say NC State's a good team. Clemson is still a good team. You could argue Boston College is a team that at times when they've got it together defensively, their offensive line, they always produce NFL guys. They're always a tough team. So to me, right now, if you were to say which is a tougher division between the two of them, I would without question give it to the Atlantic. That said, Miami and Pittsburgh are 2 quality teams on that side of the bracket. So look, 5 teams ranked in the ACC. That to me is the bigger headline, right? That 5 teams from the ACC kind of got some respect versus in years past when it was just Clemson.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. I mean, it's just, but I that did catch my attention when I saw the respect that NC State and Pitt was getting. In your eyes, why should Pitt and NC State be ahead of Miami? Miami did beat NC State last year,
and Pitt,
right?
both of them.
I'm expecting them to be better this year than they were last year, because if you have
Yeah.
better coaching, you've added some transfers. I'm not expecting the recruits to be the guys, but some of the transfers that you added, I'm expecting them to help this team out. Why shouldn't I expect you to be better than NC State now? So educate us on that. What are the coaches seeing that maybe my homer ass isn't?
Well, I guess when it comes to NC State, I mean, look, first of all, Pittsburgh's the ACC defending champion. Let's start with Pittsburgh. Yes, they lost their quarterback. Yes, they lost their star receiver and their offensive coordinator. All reasons why I think Miami's better than them. But
I
why are
didn't
they
even
getting
ask
more?
you. I didn't even ask you about Pitt, by the way. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm going to give you both because both of them were ranked ahead of Miami.
Yeah.
Pitt, they are the defending ACC champs. Got 5 starting offensive linemen back. They've got most of their defense back. They were very good on that side of the ball, even though Miami lit their ass up in Pittsburgh. They do have some quality players on that side of the ball. NC State has Devin Leary, who's one of the better quarterbacks. He played terribly against Miami here. If you go back and you look at that game, I think it was the worst game of the year, and that was against a really bad Miami defense. So, NC State brings back a lot of what they've got. Guys that were lost midseason, linebackers and so forth that are healthy now. So I think NC State's a quality team. And, if Miami plays somebody other than Clemson in the ACC title game, my money would be on NC State to be that team. So I don't have necessarily a problem. I just think, part of it too, there's a lot more riders in North Carolina, a lot more people pushing for NC State, when you go to ACC media days and so forth. So those guys always get more respect. The North Carolina teams always, to me, get more votes, etc., than teams outside of that
Pittsburgh,
area.
for me, losing everything that they, especially with Pickett. I'm sorry, you just don't replace that just like that. And until they show me that they're actually the new quarterback, then okay, then I'll tell you, oh, okay, so you guys are on a roll now. Now you're doing this shit here at that school. Okay, great, I got you. But that hasn't been the case at Pittsburgh, and so
Well,
the next
I do like Narduzzi as a coach. I think Narduzzi's a good coach.
But that's a lot those are big shoes to fill.
No, there's no question.
And badass on the college level, bro.
Yeah. Well, Slovis, who they picked up from USC, was a quality starter for USC for a couple of years, and he's an experienced guy. So it's not like they have to go with some true freshman and throw some young guy out there that hasn't played. Slovis is at least experienced. The coordinator, Signetti, that they picked up is an experienced coach as well, not some newbie. So I mean, to me, of all the teams in the Coastal, Pittsburgh, without a doubt, is the biggest challenger. I know Mac Brown has owned Miami's ass since Manny Diaz was here, and since he came back to North Carolina. But I don't know. That was a game Miami should have won last year in Chapel Hill if Tyler Van Dyke comes out throwing darts like he did in the second half.
All right. I mean, I don't know. Is it fair to ask you, at Dolphins camp, we literally see them practice.
Yeah.
We literally see them do things. You know what I mean? So,
I'm going to be completely honest with you.
What do I tell you? Tell me what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, what
yeah, I could give you some of that.
Is there anything we could be excited about? Anything we have to be disappointed about? Tell me.
Look, obviously the only concern is Zion Nelson at this point, in terms of an injury front. Like, that to me is a storyline. It's when does he come back to practice? Right now, they're not even practicing in full pads. They're still in, they just put on shoulder pads yesterday. So they're practicing in shoulder pads now with helmets. Before that, it was shorts and shells. I'm not going to BS you here. I give it to you straight, brother. You know that. There's not, first of all, I know all these writers, I was one of them before at the Herald. You have to produce content every single day, right? You gotta come up with something. I don't know how they're doing it because you're not watching anything of substance, and there's no injuries. There's no guys to report on that are hurt besides Zion Nelson. So
that's why I asked you the way I asked you, because it's just not fair.
Yeah, I think listeners and readers have to know that, right? Like, to me, people have to say, hey, listen, it's not like there's really a whole lot going on yet. Here's what I would tell you. Miami's implementing their offense, what's left of the playbook, okay, what Josh Gaddis has to put in. 2 weeks in, I would say not this coming Friday, but the one after, we'll start to get a little bit more clarity. They'll have practiced in pads multiple times. We'll hear coaches to speak a little bit more educated as far as what they're thinking. With Zion Nelson out, Right now, they're shifting guys around on the offensive line, which is something that they do anyway. Alex Mirabal, he's much more of a guy who doesn't care where guys line up. He's just going to go with the best five, right? That was his philosophy at Marshall and FIU and Oregon, and working with Mario. As far as that chemistry and all that kind of stuff, Jalen Rivers told me he's not worried. All these guys have been working together all summer. Zion Nelson isn't there. When he comes back, everybody will shuffle back to their other positions. Like you have Jalen Rivers working some at left tackle. You have John Campbell, who is super talented. That every coach was raving about. He's back. Those two guys weren't around for the spring, so right now they're all working in there. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you're going to rotate everybody on the defensive line anyway. So it almost doesn't even matter who starts, because to me, that's a position you go 8-10 deep every single game. That's the way they're going to play it. Linebackers sort of interesting, right? You watch to see who emerges there. I think Caleb Johnson is by far, their most experienced and probably fastest linebacker, besides Wesley Besant and Chase Smith, who are two young guys that, it's a matter of when the light bulb turns on for both of them when they play, because they're better than everybody else there in terms of athleticism. But until they know what they're doing, you can't put them out there. And then I like the secondary. So, I mean, like when you start answering questions and you start saying, well, what can you tell me about this? I mean, it's like everything I've written already covered from the summer. Nothing's really changed other than you got your left tackle out and you got guys working in different spots. That's all I can tell you for right now.
How about the swing guy? Is he coming through while Zion is out?
Yeah, I think John Campbell and Jalen Rivers are more than capable of being a starting left tackle in college. Like I don't have any, like, if he's not ready, if Zion's not ready for the opener because he gets back to camp too late and they're like, let's put somebody else against Bethune-Cookman to start, I'm not worried. I think Miami they're probably 7 deep on the offensive line. I think the Logan Sagapolu kid from Oregon, he could start at one of the guard spots. DJ Scaife is a swing guy. You can put him tackle or guard. Like, I just think, the one interesting thing I learned from Mirabal is the change in their blocking scheme. I don't want to go too deep inside football, but I talked about this on one of my last podcasts, for the Athletic on Wide Right. They changed in terms of what they do with their hands. The previous staff, very big about punching, right? The offensive line using their hand punching. Mirabal is get the hands up inside the shoulder pads.
That's
and
what
push
they do
up
in the
and
NFL.
lift guys. Right. Yeah. NFL
Right.
style blocking. So that's a difference. So you want to say there's a little inside football. There's a little inside football for you. And, I know we saw
That's
some of that in the
leverage,
spring.
man, so you can try to guide him, lock him in.
Right.
And sometimes even use the defender's momentum to guide him right out of it. Because if you can lock them in the same place that they're using the momentum, you then use his momentum to push him completely right out of the play. And that's what good linemen can do. So, yeah, I like that with Mirabal. I mean, but he's had success everywhere he's gone, dude. Usually his lines can block. And plus, Cristobal knows line. We've talked about this before, whether it's you or other guys. Your head coach, usually wherever he coached that part of the game is going to end up being one of the strong suits of your game. And when you go back to look at Oregon, they could always run the ball, bro. Yeah. Always run the ball. And that's because they had linemen there, because they've got Mario there. And I'm expecting that to happen. I'm not saying right away that the immediate transition, because those guys aren't going to have all their kind of players in yet. So that'll take a couple years to get that rotation in. But that's why, let's bring it full circle. When we talk about Pitt and NC State and the losses that they had, whether it's players or coaches or whatever, I look at Miami, and Miami, I don't believe really lost a ton on the player side, but on the coaching side, they gained a ton. Yeah. And they were able to also upgrade in recruiting. So that's where I think they've kind of cut the whole deal. And I can understand the NC State one because they have the quarterback. I still think Miami is better. The Pitt one I don't understand because they lost everybody. And that to me just not.
No, I see, I can see it both ways. I picked Miami to beat Pitt and win the division. So I agree. I think, they're a better team, but you show respect to the ACC champ, I guess. I don't know. A little bit more just on the positions and guys. I would say this, Don Chaney Jr. had a serious, the ACL thing. he's I spoke to his dad this morning, ran into him in the parking lot when I was leaving. He was coming to watch his son play, and he said, it's only been about 6 to 8 weeks that he's really been, full go in terms of workouts and completely done with rehab and just focus on improving his body. So I would say Don Chaney is maybe a little bit behind some of the other running backs. But again, this is a kid that, to me, when he's healthy and playing at 100 miles an hour, I think he's a more complete back. He's 210 now. He was weighing 220. He's lost 10 pounds. So that's a little tidbit, a little nugget I can share with you guys as far as, the running back battle is concerned. But, I had a long conversation with Kevin Smith, the running backs coach. And, he basically told me, look, the days of, 250 carries for your lead horse, that's over. That's over with. There's going to be a split responsibility. And I think both Henry Parrish and Jalen Knighton, they're very similarly built, very similar players that can catch the ball out of the backfield. You have two of them now instead of one last year, which hurt Miami's running game. You only had one healthy guy pretty much down the stretch in Jalen Knighton and a young Thad Franklin who was very inexperienced. Now you got 5 guys that you can run the ball with. So they're going to run the ball better. Personnel's better. The only question is receiver. Do they have the deep threat? Do they have that consistent guy? And so far, look, guys are catching the ball, but we're not watching any 11 on 11. So I can't sit here and be like, yo, they look better. I can see them go through drills. And I can tell you they're still dropping balls in drills, though. So, it is what it is.
I got you. All right. What are you working on in the athletics so folks can check it out, my friend?
Well, we just put out a new mailbag where I answered a bunch of questions recruiting-wise. I know everybody's excited about the 5 offensive line commits that they have. They're also in play for that Samson Okonola kid. So there's some questions in there related to recruiting. And I got a haircut last Friday from Steven Rivera, Kane's barber. I sat down with him and Jalen Phillips in front of Jalen Phillips' house. That was fun. I'll have a story on that coming here in the coming weeks. And, whenever interesting stuff starts happening in Miami, I'll start writing about it. I still feel like it's kind of boring so far. But look, if you want a position by position breakdown, I got an entire story there that takes you through everything that I got on there, including recruiting. So you can subscribe to The Athletic and get all that content.
Subscribe like I do and support Manny and all the excellent writers there at The Athletic. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro and catch him twice a week here with our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. Go to caneswear.com. Man, they practically have everything with a logo on it. They've got great Dolphins gear, Panthers gear, Marlins gear, Miami Heat gear. Inter Miami kits are beautiful. Check it out. Go to caneswear.com, and anywhere in the country you can order it. And if you order over $99, you will get free shipping. So Brett and all the great people will take care of you at caneswear.com. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up on Friday.
See you Friday, Take care.
Got it. There you go. Manny Navarro and our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.